Outside of the United States, we're seeing world leaders and politicians say, we are not going to buy United States military equipment. We don't trust the Trump regime. We don't trust what they're doing with the American military jets and weaponry. For example, you have Rasmus Jarlov, a conservative member of parliament in Denmark and also the chairman of Denmark's defense committee. He posted the following, which is a sentiment echoed by a lot of politicians across the world. Rasmus Jarlov writes, I don't know if there's a kill switch in the F-35s or not. We obviously cannot take your word for it. As one of the decision makers behind Denmark's purchase of F-35s, I regret it. The UF can certainly disable the planes by simply stopping the supply of spare parts. They want to strengthen Russia and weaken Europe and are showing that they are willing to do tremendous damage to peaceful and loyal allies like Canada just because they insist on existing as a country. I can easily imagine a situation where the USA will demand Greenland from Denmark and will threaten to deactivate our weapons and let Russia attack us when we refuse, which we will even in that situation. Therefore, buying American weapons is a security risk that we cannot run. We will make enormous investments in air defense, fighter jets, artillery, and other weapons in the coming years, and we must avoid American weapons if at all possible. I encourage our allies and friends to do the same. He was also responding to Lockheed Martin's post like this. There is no kill switch. The F-35 kill switch rumor has been debunked. After weeks of speculation, the Pentagon formally denies having the ability to remotely disable Lockheed Martin's F-35 fighter jets, to which Lockheed Martin responded, the F-35 is designed to enhance interoperability among allied nations, protecting their sovereignty and ensuring they can operate effectively together to achieve common defense goals. Well, I'll just share with you this. The end of last week, Donald Trump in the Oval Office said that the planes being sold to allies, he says, and he puts that basically in quotes, will be toned down, his language, toned down versions of the weapons, because Donald Trump says they may not be our allies in the future. Here, play this clip.
Buy them also, and certain allies will be selling them, perhaps toned down versions. We like to tone them down about 10%, which probably makes sense because someday maybe they're not our allies, right? But I would like to ask Secretary.
So no wonder we see headlines like this. Prime Minister of Canada Mark Carney reviews Canada's order of F-35 jets amid rift with the U.S. Come on, Bloomberg. What kind of headlines is that? A rift? You mean Donald Trump threatening to invade and conquer it and Canada wanting to exist? That's what you call a rift? Some of these headlines are just so bad sometimes. How about this one? Canada weighing cutting F-35 jet order to buy alternatives. Carney. How about this one? Portugal wobbles on buying F-35s because of Trump. How about this from French President Emmanuel Macron? Those who buy American weapons really should be looking at France and will sell you weapons. How about this from Politico? EU slams the door on the United States in colossal defense plan. European Union bloc aims to build up military industrial complex to deter Russia and brace for the U.S. shift away from Europe. Brussels. United States arms makers are being frozen out of the European Union's massive new defense spending plan, which aims to splash the cash for EU and allied countries, according to defense spending plans released this past week. It says also left out for now is the United Kingdom. We must buy more European because that means strengthening the European defense technological and industrial base, said European Union Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. in announcing the Readiness 2030 program. In a bid to strengthen ties with allies, Brussels involved countries like South Korea and Japan and the European Free Trade Association in its program that could see as much as 800 billion euros spent on defense. We need to see not only Russia as a threat, but also more global geopolitical developments and where Americans will put their strategic attention, European Defense Commissioner Andreas Kubilius told reporters. In recent years, about 2/3 of EU procurement orders have gone to U.S. defense companies. Not anymore. We're not doing this to go to war, but to prepare for the worst and defend peace in Europe, and Europe is buying Europe, not trusting America. One of the things we're seeing here, as well as The Economist reports, one reason why Japanese and South Korean defense firms are now doing so well is that their governments want more domestically made weapons with which to protect their territories rather than rely on American military backing. In other words, no one can trust the U.S. anymore under the Trump regime. From the Washington Post, as President Donald Trump upends the United States foreign policy, Washington's traditional partners and best customers are rethinking their dependence on American weapon systems. Trump turbulence leads allies to rethink reliance on U.S. weapons. European capitals are reviewing vulnerabilities and want to wean themselves from dependence on American weapons. They know it will take time, but they need to start on that right now. I'll share this with you. This is from a speech that Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, gave in the Nunavut territory region of Canada. Here he talks about arming Canada, and Canada just did a massive deal with a reliable ally, Australia, for a satellite defense system that Australia was originally going to sell to the United States. It's now going to Canada as Canada and Australia strengthen their ties and Canada not buying from America. Here, play this clip.
And today I'm announcing that our government will be working with our long-standing defense and security partners, Australia, to build a new long-range over-the-horizon military radar system. This is an investment of more than $6 billion in the most advanced and efficient radar system. The over-the-horizon radar system will enable Canada to detect and respond to both air and maritime threats over our Arctic faster and from further away. It will, most fundamentally, keep all Canadians safe.
And part of the very furtive, aggressive threat to Europe, continues. Here you have Usha Vance, the second lady, J.D. Vance's wife. Here she is announcing that she will be going to Greenland. It's kind of on her own. She's going with a delegation of other Trumpers as part of a campaign of threats and intimidation on Greenland, giving the middle finger to Denmark and the European Union. Greenland's a territory of Denmark. Here, play this clip.
Hello. I'm so excited to share that I'll be visiting Kalaalleq, Greenland, next weekend. I'm particularly thrilled to visit during our national dog sled race, which our country is proud to support as a sponsor. I've been reading all about it with my children, and I'm amazed by the incredible skill and teamwork that it takes to participate in this race. I'm also coming to celebrate the long history of mutual respect and cooperation between our nations, and to express hope that our relationship will only grow stronger in the coming years. I look forward to meeting many of you soon, and to learning from you about your beautiful land, culture, and traditions. See you soon.
And remember who I talked about at the beginning, Rasmus Jarlov, the conservative member of parliament who chairs Denmark's Defense Committee. Here's what he said about Usha going to Denmark. Going to Greenland. Great. Now, Danish taxpayers have to pay to protect tone-deaf American politicians from being lynched in Greenland because of their insanely disrespectful refusal to understand that they are not welcome. He then published this: facts that the American government needs to understand. Greenland has been under Danish crown since 1380. It is a fully integrated part of Denmark, and the Greenlanders are citizens of Denmark. Only 6% of people in Greenland would prefer being American rather than Danish. The only political party that said they trust Donald Trump got 1% and no seats in the Greenlandic parliament in the election a few weeks ago. Not a single member of the Greenlandic parliaments wants to become American. All of them find it intimidating and threatening that the USA does not respect that no means no. There is no threat from China against Greenland, and China has no presence in Greenland. The only threat against Greenland is the USA. Denmark will not sell Greenland. Denmark will not accept and will block any attempts of bribing Greenlanders. Denmark will not change its stance regardless of threats from the US. Greenland has been Danish more than twice as long as the USA has existed. It is a pretty long-term commitment. The USA can respect that, or they can go home. And when it comes to the sale by the U.S. Military companies abroad, the message is go home. We don't trust you. We don't trust Trump. We think it's going to have it be imbued with extortion, and this Trump regime can never be trusted. The Trump regime is the threat, the biggest menace in the world. That's how our former allies view it. It's embarrassing right now being in the United States and having this Trump regime do this. But I think you see a resistance growing here to our international audience. The protests are growing. We're seeing Democrat leaders fight. You see, we're covering whether it's the Bernie Sanders, AOC, and Democratic Congress members going into red districts, holding rallies. We're seeing it. I predict there's going to be a democracy summer, a summer of democracy. But it's, how could you trust the Trump regime with anything? We totally get it. And now I think the same types of boycotts we're seeing in Canada, in Europe, Australia, elsewhere against American stuff. Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.